we've got Chris here, and we've got a double rig review. Chris, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
thanks for putting on an awesome event.
Thank you. Now, most of you probably know you as Wrencher in the RC world.
That's the name I go by. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got two very special rigs in front of us. The first thing I noticed is your, and I think a lot of people know you for your metalwork.
Yeah.
So why don't we get into that a little bit?
Sure.
What is your process of doing your metalwork, and it's epic, by the way.
Nothing real special, you know. I take my inspiration from a lot of, believe it or not, I borrow ideas from other people's builds and obviously real life stuff you see on the internet. Kind of try to pick something of a theme, usually this chassis, and I find a body and just go from there and just start.
It's unbelievable. One of the special, and why don't we dive right into these trailing arms are unbelievable. Those are so nice.
I really do like to put a lot of effort into making my chassis clean.
Okay.
You know, the trailing arms, I get rid of the plastic skid plates and put something metal there. I usually try to weld up all the holes I'm not using so they're no holes in the frame where they don't need to be. And you know, it's the little details I think bring a build to life.
Sure they do.
That and hardware, you know, make your hardware look pretty. It adds that little touch, right?
Yeah, it sure does. It sure does. I just love the detail back here, this truggy with all of the scale accessories. And
yep.
This is really nice too. This is something I really like, is this tire carrier.
You know, on the Jeep guys do a lot of the drop down, swing down tire carriers nowadays, and the real one-to-ones. And I've never really seen one on a truggy, and I just thought being a kind of Jeep truggy would be a nice little thing to just try incorporating into it, you know?
Yeah. And whose body is this?
Believe it or not, that is, oh God, I can't remember. That's the Team Raffi front end.
Okay.
And
but there's something unique going on back
here. The rear back half of the cab I got on Shapeways.
Okay.
Geez, I wish I could remember the guy's name who does it, but it's a beautiful piece. Fits perfect.
Fits perfect. Yeah, it really looks the piece.
And the interior is R3 Designs.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Your drivers are always special.
Yeah. I'm a real old school Tamiya guy. My first rigs were Tamiyas started out, and I have a real soft spot for Wild Willie. So my drivers are always the Wild Willie body.
Right.
But there's a really amazing guy in California named Matt Hicks who sculpts heads as well as Wild Wendy figures, Big Bill, all those figures are done by him. So I always make sure I incorporate one of his heads into my builds.
Beautiful.
At least the head, if not one of his whole figures.
And I think you used Pro Comp as sort of as a theme.
Yeah, that was the theme on this one. I'm a mechanic by trade, and I do a lot of Pro Comp lifts, and I just happen to have a lot of these stickers.
Yeah. No.
So I thought I'd put them to good use.
One of the most beautiful builds, clean, sharp. How did it perform?
It actually performed really well.
Yeah?
I was really happy. Nothing broke. Thank God. I broke a mirror off. That was the only thing broke. I got to get some rubber ones or something. But other than that, yeah, it worked really well. Really happy with the tires. First time I've run those.
Okay.
Really impressed with them. A little bit of fine tuning here and there, but overall, I'm really pleased with its performance.
Very nice. Very nice. Let's not neglect the PowerWagon. Let's pull this one over. Again, first thing I'm going to jump into is the trailing arms back here. Again, that design is beautiful. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Really, really
thank you very
well
much.
Done.
Thank you.
And so, how did you come up with this theme?
You know, it goes back to the old. It was a one-to-one. I don't know if it was actually built for King of the Hammers or what, but the race tractor, very similar but green.
Yep.
Real truck.
Yep.
I know Matt Kett from Scale Builders Guild, he did a version of it. Harley Designs, I think, did one too.
Yeah, I think he did. Yep.
So I kind of always wanted to do something like that with this body. And believe it or not, the thing that inspired this build was RC Nerd's 3D printed parts.
So you've got some of RC Nerds?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
The grille, the headlights, the dash, the little scale details. I just thought brought that Pro Line body to life.
And again, this is a bit of your metal work going on here?
All my metal work, yeah.
It's really well done. The rust here is really well done, and the patina and the texture is good. How did you come up with the rust?
Well, some of it's the same old tricks.
Sure.
I started with the salt trick, you know.
Yeah.
Put that down, and then some pigments and all that. But then the happy part was this. I don't know if you can see it. The texture on this front fender. I'd used some inexpensive no-name brown paint for that, and when I sprayed the Tamiya semi-gloss clear to kind of seal everything, it actually made the brown kind of crackle and gave it a neat texture. And at first I was kind of upset, but now it kind of adds to the
yeah,
look,
it really looks good.
So it was a happy little mistake.
It was one of the first things I noticed.
Happy little mistake.
Man,
there.
it looks great. Sometimes those happy little mistakes really work out, eh? Yeah, for sure.
The only thing is, it didn't do it to the rear ones. It only did it to the front.
A little bit here, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It looks good. It looks good. And of course, driver again is
another one of Matt Hicks's heads.
Yeah, and the detail in the interior is phenomenal.
Yeah, that the RC Nerds dash for this body is just beautiful. And then the only thing nobody makes is wipers. So I actually just made those myself out of styrene.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
A little bit of styrene.
Driveline.
This is actually the first time I've ever actually driven a Viterra Ascender.
Oh, okay.
It's a Viterra Ascender, mostly stock. I did put some little nicer shocks and a couple detail bits on it, but other than that, yeah. And again, it performed. This thing blew me away. These tires.
Really, eh?
Yeah,
they work well.
You know, with a bit of a scale detail, it's got a bit of wide track and big tires, but yeah, it performed almost as good as a comp crawler. It blew me away where I was able to get this one to go today.
Even is this RC Nerds with the
that
grill?
Is, yeah. Well, the radiators, the old tie straps.
Is it really?
Glued to a piece of styrene.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, little tie straps.
Oh, that's so good.
Shoe glue them on or crazy glue them on.
Yeah, it looks legit.
Yeah.
Really well done. Yeah. And the driveline underneath the Jeep was
It's almost all axial.
Okay.
If you'd like to pull the cab off there, you can
I'll
see how I did that. Yeah. It's kind of a neat. I do this in a few of my rigs where I want to get a full interior in.
Wow.
I make a plate that welds in between there.
Okay.
And use the axial transmission and incorporate a servo mount at the front. And then use an RC four-wheel drive transfer case at the back here.
Wow, really well done. I mean, when I walked up and saw these two rigs, I was like, man, these are so... One of the things that your presentation and they're so clean, they're so beautiful. They look the part, you know, they really stand out, and when you see them on the trail next to the terrain, they really pop. So they're just a beautiful rig.
You know, I've been trying to, because when I first started building RCs, everything was black. Right. And the last few years, I've learned that you know, it's okay to paint something a different color. You know, play with the color palette and enjoy it. And it's really, I've kind of. The last color I will pick now is black.
Well done. Well, I know that you've been doing this for a long time. You're sort of one of the originals that got back into this, and I've been following you for quite some time. So it's a privilege that you brought your rigs. It's a privilege to meet you. It's a privilege to have them here. So thank you for the rig review.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And you know, this is the third GCM event I've been to. One at Vancouver, one at Calgary, one here, and all three of them have been just probably one of the best events I've ever been to. So,
well, thank you.
Thank you, GCM and LMRCC and the Rock Dogs for hosting this one. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, we're having a great time.
Yeah.
Tiny trucks are awesome, eh?
Yeah, they are.
Tiny trucks are the way to go. Tiny truck salute.